Peace, peace. Peace to the replay visitors. Peace to you wherever you are as you come into this space, into this time. Wanted to ramble a little bit, share a quick thought that's coming through around a major, depending upon whichever way you want to look at it, mindset thing. Sometimes you have to be bigger than the mind. So, what do I mean when I say being bigger than the mind, right? We have patterns that we get in place. Greetings. See a couple people showing up and I'm already starting in. So I'm going to just keep going. So, when our mindset has been what it has been, regardless of how much positivity it may have been or how it may have been supporting you or whatever, regardless of how effective your mindset might have been or whatever, when you decide to step into a new space in your self story, in your personal story, and what you and who you've decided yourself to be, the mind that you have held, the mindset you have held, it will show up. It will show up and it will show out. And I had a lot of thoughts that have kind of drifted in, all kinds of thoughts. Thoughts of, what if you get sick and die? What if this happens? What are you going to do about this? I'm just tired. I don't want to do. All kinds of thoughts showing up. And sometimes you have to align yourself with what it means to be bigger than the mind. You, me, I had to be bigger than the story that was playing itself out in my mind. And what does that mean, right? What does that mean? It means that although I had a bit of a wormy thought or wormy mentality showing up of, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing this. Why do I have to do this? Why does it have to be me? Why must I have to do all the things? Where's someone else? Can I just give this to someone else? Wouldn't it be easier if I could just order? It'd be easier if I could just do this. It'd be easier. And I don't want to. And all of this was showing up in my mind, right? Triggered by fatigue, which was brought on by trying to do the work. Shifting mindsets, moving into a new way of being, right? So when you move into a new way of being, you hold yourself to different standards. You move in a different way, right? And if you are not used to doing things in a new way, it is very easy for your mentality to be resistant, or your neural pathways, right? The way that your brain has wired itself, it may not want to go the way that you've decided you're going to go. So I made this decision about who I am and how I would show up. And we do it all the time. I do it all the time. I'll be honest. I've said all kinds of things about what I plan to do and how I plan to do it. But I didn't decide that I would do it in the sense of this is what it is. And so you can talk about it, but until you rearrange yourself to be about it, it just stays talk. And in the talking space, the mindset that triggers you to stay or causes you to stay in the old pattern will show up. And your actions will determine who wins. Who wins the day? Your actions will say who wins the day. So, and being bigger than the mind, being bigger than the mindset, it's how we hold on to the me or the I that we are calling in, right? That we are wanting to align ourselves with, that we are stepping into, that we have decided, made the decision to be. When we make that decision, it feels good. We do with our whole body. Even now, I can feel the energetic response of gratitude for the way that I showed up for myself when my mindset wanted to complain and moan and just belabor. It wasn't even over anything huge. It was simply, I didn't want to have to go cook another meal, and I didn't want to have to go clean up another thing, and I didn't want to have to do the laundry, and I just didn't want to do and didn't want to do and didn't want to do and didn't want to do. And because I had all these I don't want to do's, it was creating for me this level of and that level of had the potential to derail a lot of good things, and a lot of it could have shifted my impact or how I've been able to finish my day. So although I had this energy, my child was coming around, Mommy, what's wrong? And she thought something was wrong, and if she did something wrong, I had to explain to her, honey, you did nothing wrong. Sometimes you just won't want to. Sometimes you'll have things that you need to do, that you must do, but you won't want to do it. And I have to do what I must. So I'm moving through in a must-do way. I'm not whistling while I work. I'm not joy-filled while I'm getting it done. I'm simply committed to doing what I must do. And no, I don't want to do this. No, and she, again, my daughter really thought, Mommy, she thought I was mad at her. I had to explain, honey, this is not about being mad at you. Even though right now I don't want to take care, I don't want to have to do anything. I don't want to have to take care of you. I don't want to have to take care of me. I want somebody else to come take care of me. This was all showing up in my mindset tonight. All of this. And all of this because I decided that it was time for me to step into who I am in a stronger and more clear way. Like absolutely defining it, being clear in my language and stating it. Stating it, writing it, and showing up. And when you start doing that, it's a resetting of a pattern. It's not easy. It's almost like the neural pathways, the mindset that was already there was super strong, right? And so I told her, I was like, honey bun, I have to need you to know, this is a moment of doing what one must, not what I want to do. If I do just what I want to do, I won't get what it is that I have called for myself. I won't get it. It won't come. And I'll get the life that I just have. And that's not acceptable for me, honey. So I'm going to do what I must. And she witnessed me doing what I must. And she was like, can I do this? And I was like, honey, if I have to explain it to you, if I have to tell you what to do, that's going to take some extra out of me. So right now you can just watch me moving through. I don't care. See what you can do. Figure it out. I don't want to have to think for you because that was almost too much to put on my mind, that I was already trying to be bigger than. I couldn't be bigger than my mindset and still have to carry her at the time. So it's like, you fine. Just witness, watch. I'm not giving you any, I'm not fussing, I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing what I must. And am I doing what I must as I continue that movement? Slowly but surely, I began to find my mood shifting. And I began getting things, handled in a different way. And I got things done that I was proud of. And I got things done. So I don't know if, for you out there, I know for me, there are many things that I'm calling into existence in my life right now. I'm absolutely ready to transform on levels that I have never even witnessed it before. I'm ready to see me in spaces at a level that I've never even witnessed before. Like I want to surprise my own self. And so because I know that this is what I'm calling forward, I also know therefore, I must be bigger than the mindset that I have carried. I must be bigger. I must will that part of my heart, that part of my soul, that part of my consciousness that's aligning with this God-given message until it becomes what I'm passionate about. And if you've worked out, sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we do it for life or death. Sometimes we can find a way to do that because of many things. I've had a few scenarios in my life where something happened that convicted my spirit. And becoming convicted in my spirit, I was able to, move past my mind. Right now, I'm just having to choose to do it. And I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm respectful. I'm willing to do what I must. And that's the language right now. Sometimes we get so caught up in the what I want to do. I'm just grateful that I've been in a space of calling down the vision and claiming the blessings. Calling down the vision and claiming the blessings of my bloodline, of my work, of the good works that have gone on before me. I'm in this space being ready to call up the tab on the prayers that my ancestors have put forth. I'm ready. It's been spoken to me. It's been spoken over me. I claim it. I agree. I align. I'm ready to allow. And so as I stand in that space of choosing to witness in my own self a me that I ain't never seen before. And I've seen me show up in some pretty powerful ways. I'm calling on something greater, which means that I have to rely on something greater. And it's bigger than my mind. It's bigger than what this brain has been able to conceptualize. This thought frame, these thought forms, this consciousness framework. Like I feel like my entire framework is being reshifted and realigned and recalibrated to accept a new that's very old. So there are times when there's a life or death where we will do what we must do, right? And if you've ever been in a position where it's like your life depends on it, many times that might be the catalyst to do what we must, but it's another thing to do what you must, to will it into existence when you're comfortable or when you're tired. Or when it would just be easier to just let it be. So I'm standing in the space of I'm going to call them down. I'm going to call my blessings down. I'm going to pull them up. I want to let them manifest from the inside out. As I change the way that this framework has been, taking myself from this mineral-based being into a crystal form, this gold light-filled being. I'm bringing that person to the forefront. And she is aligned with the highest wills for her life. And it almost makes me want to cry. To think about what it means to align myself with the highest will for my life. Because it would be easier just to keep those old stories playing. It would be easier just to keep those old records playing. It would be easier to think that I'm past the time. I should have did it a long time ago. To let all those wormy thoughts, as I call them, continue to infest my being. But I'm cleaning house as I am restoring myself into my rightness, into my rightfulness, into my righteousness, into my right thought, my right perceptions. And I feel like it is so okay to expand out my heart, to expand out my throat, to expand out my mind, to become bigger than who I have ever been before. So they say how you do one thing is how you do all things. They say how you do one thing is how you do all things. And today I'm going to touch and agree with you that we are going to choose to align with the high calling for our lives. And if this is not for you, then it's okay. I want you to witness those who it is for. And if you're calling down the high calling, calling it up, you're going to feel me. You're going to let me know. You don't even got to know what it is. See, that's the thing. I remember walking in willingness before I even knew what it was. Now as I'm beginning to awaken into the what it is, it's even scarier because right now, if the thought is coming to me, if the thought is coming to you, if you're getting nudges and inclinations, it's because you are being awakened to something that's just for you. If it's showing up in your mind, if it's showing up in your heart, if it's showing up in front of you, if you see it and then the answer is downloading in you, it's because it's a part of your path. Now, don't get me wrong. There are thought forms that will trip us up. There are consciousness streams that are not our own. There are programs within these spaces like this that we're on right now. This platform is full of thought forms that wish us no good. It's filled with thought forms and energy beings and just ways where messages and feelings permeate that you don't even look for. So you have to be mindful of this space right here where we are or wherever you find me. When we fight these energies, I have learned that obedience is greater than sacrifice. Because then we have to go through the test. And we get the message, we might still have to go through some learning, but our willingness offers us grace and covering. Our willingness to go forward offers us a certain level of grace and covering. But when we deny, when we say no, when we push against it, then we don't have the covering of that grace. Well, we may still have grace, we may still have prayers, but we're going to have to go learn it a different way. Far be it from me to say you don't have grace and covering. Today I was studying in Deuteronomy, I know I'm so not Christian, but I'm so talking in biblical language because I understand it, right? It is how it's showing up. It's how it's showing up. You can get this book and this tool from wherever. And it spoke about how when Moses made Pharaoh let his people go. When Moses made Pharaoh let his people go. And they left Egypt on the road to the promised land, right? If you don't know the story, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 days for a trip that they could have completed. They could have completed that trip in 11 days, in less than 2 weeks. But their resistance, their lack of faith, their fear, their lead, the parts of themselves that they were not ready to give up, the beliefs that were too important to them, the desire to do what they wanted as opposed to doing what they must and what God had put in front of them to do was too great. It was too great. In fact, some of them had to die and their children had to be the ones to come through. So I'm no longer wandering in the wilderness of my own mind, ready to be bigger than. And I know the only way that I can surpass my mere human limitations is to lean not into my own understanding, but to connect in with spirit. I check in with spirit for everything. I sit at my altar every day. Even when I don't want to, I have no choice. Like I just literally just go in there and just sit down on the stool, right? And if I just sit. I just sit and I allow. So I'm just sharing with you how it's coming through me today. Let's not wait until the crisis points to get obedient, to finally say, okay, I surrender. Because that's one place and point at which to make the decision. But I tell you, there's this model of old black womanhood that I'm calling into myself, right? It's a model. It's a framework. I want to be one of these. I'm calling her in. And she's that type who get a knowing 2 weeks ahead, 3 weeks, a month. And I'm like, oh yeah, I dreamt about this. I want to be that kind who sit on my porch and be like, watching the birds and witnessing how the ants are crawling and tell everybody what we need to do. And they're like, how'd she know? Because I've learned to pay attention and call in the signs and symbols before it has to. I don't need the brick to hit me upside the head no more. I want to see the brick, sense the energy, and know that I need to go move that brick, or be aware that I'm going to have to diffuse this situation because there's going to be somebody over here trying to throw a brick. I don't want to wait until it hits me upside the head anymore. I don't want that. And when I grew up in the South, they would tell us that a hard head made a soft behind. You suffer. The Buddha says, pain is inevitable, suffering is an option. We choose. This is why we have to become bigger than our mind, bigger than our passions, in order to do what we must, to align with a higher passion, the passion. Whew. I just had show up in my head, that my words just showed up, the passion of the Christ. So why do I feel like I'm being called into the understanding of Christ as a teacher? Because he walked amongst the people with the intention of having them know themselves. So too did Buddha. So too did most of our teachers walked among the people. So I feel this calling to teach us about our teachers so that we can understand ourselves. And I tell you, if the great teachers who walked this earth before we got here, simply led with the passion of their inclinations, only led with the passions of their inclinations, maybe we wouldn't be singing their stories right now. I know today many of us are absolutely driven by our lower passions and callings. And so it is interesting that the idea of the passion of the Christ, the passion of the illuminated ones, those who have been so filled and overtaken by the spirit and the will to do good, to be called into, the high calling. It's a high calling, yo. That's where I am. So I'm grateful that I did not fall prey to my mind tonight. And I wish you strength and courage as you walk out your path in each day, to be able to give yourself grace when you fall short, because fall short we will. as we may have shorter times, smaller amounts of time that we fall there. But if we fall, we just have to know how to get up and keep going, right? Isn't that what we do? We fall short, we atone and move forward. That's really the truth of it. That's the truth, that's it, that's all. It just becomes whether or not we choose to suffer and beat ourselves up. So let us be bigger than our mind, because it's the mind that would make us suffer. It's the mind that would beat us up. It's the thoughts of what would they say, or what would they do, or what, how I should be based on someone else's standard or someone else's belief or somebody else's story telling us who and what and how. As we are finding our way in the midst of the madness, right? The madness, like we are in the madness, right? It's a revolution. It's a personal revolution to be bigger than your mind. It is a personal revolution to be centered in your heart. Because some people are only centered in their mind. They can't go anywhere. It doesn't compute if it doesn't fit here. And they've almost cut themselves off from their high heart. Their heart is inaccessible. So, being bigger than our mind, centering in our heart, having the will to do what we must, the will to be good, to do good, allowing that spirit to shine through us until, if anyone who's ever worked out or done things like that, you would know that in the beginning of your working out, it's not always easy to get the will to do it. But once you've gotten into it, once it's become who you are, you don't feel right if you're not. It becomes your passion. So, thank you all for listening to me share with you all my story of becoming bigger than my thoughts, bigger than the energies that were trying to usurp my authority to be who I am and who I will to be. Tomorrow's Friday. Thank you. I'm looking forward to Friday. Just because I need to rest on this weekend as much as I can. But I love you so much. I love you so much. May we all go forward and do the best that we can. That's really all I wanted to share with you all today. Tonight. It's nighttime here. And I actually don't have a song to sing. Oh my God. Actually I do. It's a song that I wrote. And it should be coming out actually really soon. We're going to release it. I'm going to be releasing this song. So I will share it with you. And essentially it goes like this. As you walk along your path, you may find seeds of self-doubt springing forth from your fertile mind. You must weed them out sometimes. The signs that you will see include confusion, a sense of disillusion, and you can't put your finger on it. Trust and believe in love. Oh, trust and believe Trust and believe in love, in love, in love. So, thanks, Shantae. It's gonna be out really soon as I do a re-release of the Kitsugi project in its entirety and not just the EP. How to put yourself back together with gold. So, blessings to you all. I love you so much. We got this. We really, really do. And be gentle with yourself when you feel like you're falling short. Be firm yet gentle. Get up and do it again. Start over again. Choose again. Pick it up again. Drink your water. Take your salt baths. Do a few exercises. Call a friend. Call your grandma. Call someone. Connect in a loving way. Breathe. Remember breath. Sometimes you might not be able to do anything but breathe and cry. Cry. When they need to cry, you cry. For the people who can't even cry. There are people who can't even cry. So, that's our revolution. To be transformed. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your night.